some reason it was started looking more of a robotic life, like I started feeling that I'm in this loop now where I have to just live the same life over and over on the repeat. So at the beginning, it was exciting, and towards the end, I was feeling at my head. There was a strike that, oh my God, I was here, but what if I was not there? You
Yeah.
know, at this moment, I was feeling like, okay, this is invincible. Everybody will live forever. They're healthy, happy. But now, this moment was like the turning point where I realized that, okay, this could also happen. They are getting old now. They're not getting younger.
Yeah.
So that was the moment as when I went back, I knew exactly, okay, I have to. Having this knowledge base that I got from US is actually helping me to tap into these companies, and they're more willing to listen to me now. If I was here itself and would have approached them, it would be different. But now when I have this background with me that, hey, I've spent 10 years in US construction industry, I learned these things. Now companies like L&T's, companies like Godrej, Tata Projects, we are working with them now. Like they're some few of our clients.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Desi Return. Today, I'm excited to have Aniruddha on our show. Aniruddha went to US for his master's in 2013. After spending close to 10 years, he moved back to India. And some of the interesting aspects of moving from a corporate world to and being an entrepreneur, how the journey has been, what made him to move back to India. And he has been living in India for close to a year. So want to understand how the life has been. So looking forward to our discussion. With that, welcome Aniruddha to our show.
Thank you, Avinash, for asking me to be here on your show. I'm very obligated and delighted to be here.
So if you can start a bit about your background and what made you to move abroad, that would be very helpful.
Sure. I did my undergrad here in civil engineering. So I'm resident of Ujjain, which is in MP, Madhya Pradesh. It's well known for Mahakaleshwar temple. It's one of the Jyotirling. So I did my undergrad here from a very small college. And then I started into a job. And being in construction industry here in India was very tough. You have to be outdoor. I didn't really like it. So I thought that I would pursue higher education. So I was preparing for my IIT entrance exam as well. At the same time, I had a backup plan that, for example, if IIT didn't selected me, then I would go with GRE. So I was preparing both hand in hand at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think the fortune was that I would be going abroad, so I didn't got selected in IIT, and then I had to move I got selected with GRE and applied to a couple of universities. So then I decided to move and pursue my higher education there. The plan was always to return back, but I didn't knew that when and how I would come back. So from the day one when I was traveling, I knew that, okay, I want to come back. My parents are here, they would never travel back. So it was always back in the mind, but I think it took 10 years for me to get that step and get out of it.
Yeah. Cool. So how was the life in US? I know 10 years is quite a bit of a time. How was the life and what made you to decide to move back to India?
Okay, so the life in general, I would talk like at the beginning, it was very exciting, right? So when we were like new in US, we were a student, we were getting into jobs, so everything was very new and it was very different. So I always love challenges, as a person, I'm more like my growth starts when I'm being challenged. So getting a new environment was very challenging at the same time was exciting for me. So I was enjoying at the early beginning phases. College was very fun. I was at University of Florida, so the weather was very well equipped for where I was in India. So I didn't felt many like much of difference. So that was good. When I started in the corporate job as well, it was good. At the earlier stages, life was good in terms of like climbing the ladder. I was pursuing the dream. That was like your American dreams, you can call. So I was into that mindset now because everybody was talking about it that you're in US, you have this dream. But after the second half, like after 5 years, for some reason, it was started looking more of a robotic life, like I started feeling that I'm in this loop now, where I have to just live the same life over and over on the repeat. So at the beginning, it was exciting, and towards the end, I was feeling stuck there,
Yeah.
That's kind of my feeling towards it.
Got it. Is there any specific reason, if you think about it, that you felt that way? Just curious. Is that anything that you
I
can
think I think
pinpoint?
it was more of a job, like the corporate job. I feel like over there the culture is like you work hard and you play hard, so there is no in between. Like they're expected you to work very hard, and then for play wise, like for us, we don't have a big community, we don't have a big family over there, so getting into their culture cycle, it was okay, but we always felt like an outsider. You're forcing yourself to enjoy their culture. It was never like connected to what we are rooted from, like how we grown up. So that was like more of feeling that okay, on the play hard you can't do it, as well as like on the vacation side. I feel like a lot of Indian can connect with these, that when you're in a job, you wait for that whole taking your vacation, you wait for whole year because you want to go back to India, so you don't go anywhere, you don't travel much. I think things are changing now, people are taking more vacation, but I remember my time, like I would save all my vacation time so that I can
Yeah.
come visit to India. So that whole year was like feeling like stuck, like okay, I was just waiting for that one month.
Yeah, for sure. So sounds like, I think in the last 5 years, this is when you felt it was robotic, and that's when you were thinking about making a change. So for how long have you been planning about moving back to India? Maybe you can talk a little bit about your plan,
Mhm.
especially, how many years or things, and anything that you can share on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, from the beginning, the plan was to move back to India. But after a certain point, there was an incident. So basically, how I felt to come back is like I was in India in COVID 2020,
Okay.
and then one of my friend got married at that time. So I met with him. He was actually at University of Florida, and he moved back in 2018 itself. So I went to his wedding. We enjoyed a lot. And then somehow this idea of starting our own company came in during that whole entire 3 4 days, So we started just laughing about that. Why don't we do that? And then actually we started thinking seriously about it. When I moved back in 2021, we started really thinking about it. And then we planned all the things together, And
Got
it
it.
was from idea to now getting into execution. Those small baby steps were taking places, and then that's where I think it was starting to build up that okay, now I would have to move back. But really the push was happened when in 2022 when I came back, actually 2023. So yeah, it was 2023 last year when I came back to India to visit my family. There was an incident that happened with my dad. He always had like the high blood pressure situation, but one morning I was sleeping, my mom came and woke me up in the morning that hey, something's happening to your dad, so I rushed down, and that was those moments that was the worst dream, right? Like the
Yeah.
nightmare that you could dream about. My dad was sleeping, he had the hand over here and he was just smiling, but I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
So he said that he's a very scholar guy, he knows exactly what's wrong with him. So he asked me immediately to rush to the hospital. We went to the emergency room. The doctor hooked all the equipments that needs to be done. And later that whole day, I found out after all the tests were done that there was like a minor stroke with hypertension, because he had high BP at the same time his heart rate was going high. And that was like a blow at my head. There was a strike that, oh my God, I was here, but what if I was not there? You
Yeah.
know, at this moment, I was feeling like, okay, this is invincible. Everybody will live forever. They're healthy, happy. But now, this moment was like the turning point where I realized that, okay, this could also happen. They are getting old now. They're not getting younger.
Yeah.
So that was the moment as when I went back, I knew exactly, okay, I have to come back. So the same month I put my notice down to my company and
Wow.
told them that, hey, this is it, that I would want to move back.
So pretty much a immediate decision and an action related to that. Got it.
Exactly. I didn't thought much about it.
Yeah. Cool. So is there anything that you can share? So sounds like, I think, on a planning perspective, after that, thought, and you just made the
Mhm.
decision to move back. Was there anything that you can share from a career planning or a financial planning or anything? Like, what
Mhm.
was your idea when you're, moving back to India? How were you thinking about those aspects?
Yeah. No, definitely. There was a lot of thought process that went behind it that, okay, what we would do after it. Luckily, like I said, when I started the company, I was more of a passive investor when I started it. And then the company actually started earning some money out of it. So since 2022, I was getting money back from the company which I started as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. So I knew that, okay, there was a source that I can continue forward. It was not built up large, but I knew that I can put my time and energy in it. It was the same field of work that I was doing. So I know exactly from 10 year I was doing, I can do that, but on my own time. So
Yes.
that was one good thing that I did before this thought came in. So that was one. The second was I remember in 2019, one of my colleagues, his name is David, he introduced me to the market, which is the equity and the stock market. He just find we were sitting in the office and we were discussing, and he's like, "Why don't you start investing?" I think he gave me like AMD or something that you should invest some money in it. I have no clue about investment till that day, but I clearly remember that, okay, I listened to him and I invested $500 just by listening
Yeah.
to him. I was like, okay, I'll invest in it. And then I think that stock blew up within a couple months, and I saw that, okay, wow, this is a real thing. And then I started putting a lot more money into it.
Yeah.
So since 2019, I started putting most of my savings into the market. So till date, when I made this decision, I had a good amount corpus made into it, which gave me a little bit of security where I was feeling okay and confident that, okay, even if I don't have any job, even if the company fails, at least I have the security which I can continue living for a little bit longer. So that gave me the financial boost and strength to jump back.
Got it. So sounds like, I think, you kind of made a plan to move from a corporate world to entrepreneur. I think the one that you already started a few years back before the move, and have enough
Mhm.
corpus fund to let you do the things that you want to do, and then decide as the things
Mhm.
come up. That sounds good. So maybe you can share some insights, especially like you have worked for a year in India, and then almost
Mhm.
close to like 8 to 9 years in US before
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur. So maybe you can compare and contrast or shed some light in terms of a corporate world for versus an entrepreneur. That's one question. And the second question
Yeah.
is, how easy is it to run a startup or a business in India in this current age, right? So if you can
Mhm.
help us provide some insights from your own experience on those two aspects, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, perfect. No, I think I'll touch base on the first question, which is moving from corporate to an entrepreneur lifestyle, right? So it is night and day, to be very honest. Like in corporate world, you are bound on a time. You're basically trading your time, right? You're going and putting your time and you're getting money in return out of that time. So that is, in my mind, that is corporate, that you're going in and putting in. So you're very bound, you're very limited with your time. Now, because you're trading your time, you are bound on the company rules and policies. You can't just think of going on a holiday without a notice. You have to plan everything accordingly. So that was corporate world. When I moved out of it in entrepreneur life, I quickly learned how to do the same thing but with others' time. So the switch is this, where you need, and as an entrepreneur, you need to think about how can you make money on somebody else's time. And as soon as I got it, I was like, oh my God, okay, this is it. This is what I was doing there, and somebody else was earning money on my time. Now I can
Yeah.
do the same thing. So I figured that equation out. And then you're not obligated now. Like now, literally, since I moved back to India, I traveled in this 1 year. I traveled that much that I didn't travel in last 10 years. Like
Okay.
literally, I'm taking trip every month. I'm just not thinking too much. As soon as I think like, okay, I want to go somewhere, I'm just getting in my car and just driving. So this freedom is something totally different. You don't feel that in the corporate world. Now, but both have their plus and minus. Like the corporate, you have good security, right? You have a consistent income source coming in. So I don't think that is bad. For a lot of people, that's good. They want to have that security. They want to have that steady life. With entrepreneurship, you have freedom, but you have a lot of fluctuation. Like in corporate, I'm working from 9 to 5. But as an entrepreneur, sometime I work from 5 to 9, which is 5 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m. And sometime I work from only 5 p.m. to. So the work hour are very different. The dynamics are very different. But I think it suits person to person. If you're enjoying challenges like me, you'll enjoy a lot in entrepreneurship. So that is your first question, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The second one is, how is the work culture different between India and US, and how to start a company here, right?
Yeah. So primarily like the running a business or a startup in India right now, yeah, at this time. Yeah.
Yeah. So my company my background of my company is more of an outsourcing company. So basically, all the work that I'm doing still is US work. So when I established that was an outsourcing company. So I'm just trading all the manpower from here and then getting the work from US. So I still deal with US client, but manpower wise, if we talk, India has a humongous amount of talent here. There is like plenty of talent available to hire. Like when you put a resume, whenever we are in hiring need, we put on LinkedIn ads, and within an hour we would get like 200, 300 resumes. So there is a lot of people that are available, and they're talented people as well. They're
Yeah.
not just any. So we have a huge amount of pool. So that is one biggest advantage that we have, is having this a consistent source of skilled labor that comes in, that we can use. Now, in terms of other side of it, like if you're doing business in India, which actually I started doing some of that here as well, I thought, why not test out the Indian client market as well? So I reached out to a lot of larger organization here as well. Having this knowledge base that I got from US is actually helping me to tap into these companies, and they're more willing to listen to me now. If I was here itself and would have approached them, it would be different. But now when I have this background with me, that hey, I've spent 10 years in US construction industry, I learned these things. Now companies like L&T's, companies like Godrej, Tata Projects, we are working with them now. Like they're some few of our clients, because we have this background. Now they're able to listen to us. The only situation is that if I talk freely, that money wise, the Indian clients are still a hassle. You have to get your money out of it. The US client is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But again, it's the beauty of doing business. You can spread yourself across the globe. So if one market is slowing down, you at least have second market to go with.
Yeah, for sure. If I may ask, how did you choose like which city you want to relocate to back in India? Like, I mean, is it where like you have your company working, or parents just curious on that, or how you approached it?
Yeah, so that was simple again for me, that I wanted to move back to my hometown because my parents have lived here in Ujjain for many years. So I knew exactly I wanted to move back to Ujjain. The another part that I didn't want to do is move back to a big city. That was not in my mind. I was living in Miami, Florida, so that was one of the biggest city in US, and I was done with big cities. The traffic, the all the things that are there. I was like, I can't do big city anymore.
Yeah.
So my plan was to move down to a small town. Ujjain is very small town. Now it's actually getting crowded because of the Mahakal temple, but at least the area that I am in is very secluded. It's very quiet. Now, company-wise, we're online business, so most of our team is work from home. So it doesn't matter where I am. Like I have my laptop, I get internet, and I'm ready to work. So that is one big advantage we're getting of 21st century. And after COVID, I think it is even bigger advantage. If you know how to do it, work it well, then it's better.
That's great. So how is the life in India so far? So how have you settled the family and everyone? Yeah, how is it going?
Yeah. So to be very honest, like I knew that this was exactly the life that I want to live, and now I'm living it. It has been a very pleasant journey for me. Like because I moved back to the same hometown, I knew exactly all the places. I have a lot of friends that were already there. So families were there. So I didn't had like it felt like I just took a break and I just came back. Everybody was there itself. It was well settled. Everything was settled. So settlement wise, nothing like it was completely well settled. Now, actually, I'm like when I'm out of the onto this corporate world and into entrepreneur journey, now I'm exploring India a lot because when I was after college, I didn't explore India and I moved to US. So now I didn't travel much. So now it's my time to actually explore India and go to different places. You won't believe me that within 1 year I've actually traveled to like 6 or 8 different places.
Yeah.
Every month I'm planning a trip. Like every month I was last month I was in Mysore for a whole month. I took a
Oh,
whole
okay.
yoga class for a month. Then before that I was in Himachal Pradesh. I was 2 or 3 weeks. I was there in Manali. So I was just taking time and I'm just exploring India and enjoying it a lot.
So you have the benefit of the flexibility where you can work from anywhere and utilize it, and then the travel around, spend, learn. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So.
Cool. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to bring up in our discussion for people who are considering about moving back to India?
I think just like a last note that I want to mention to everybody who's thinking to move back. Um, so don't think too much. I would tell to people that if you stuck in this thinking cycle, you would never get out, or you would never make the move. For me, it happened quickly. Like we decided to move in March and July, we were here. That was quick. Like in 3 months, we made all the arrangement. We sold everything out there and moved. If you extend this thinking cycle, then it is never ending. You get into that loop and you never make that move. So my only suggestion to people will be like, don't think too much. Life in India is getting better these days now. We have high internet speed, the roads are getting better. Obviously, it's getting crowded, but you can manage it well. If you live in certain areas, then you can avoid those as well. You're getting all the facilities that you were getting in US, but at the same time, you're enjoying your family time, you're enjoying your friends, you're enjoying your culture that you have grown in. And I have a 3-year-old daughter, so I'm very proud that I'm raising her in Indian culture now. Like she's able to live with her grandparents. And then every day the joy that I see in everybody around the family, it's priceless. Like you cannot compare with any amount of money you would get. So yeah, that's my suggestion to everybody.
Yeah, no, great. I'm just like, just so curious, like, with a family, like with 3-year-old, like you were able to make the decision to action within 3 months. Maybe you might have been planning a little bit ahead, but 3 months is just a short duration to make everyone, like, the spouse, the kid, everybody to make the big move.
Yeah, the biggest shock was for my wife actually because like she was not anticipating that it would happen so quick. She knew
Yeah.
that yeah we will move back, but it was so quick. So you know how women get attached to a lot of things at house. So getting things out was very tough for her, and I saw that as well at the beginning. But after towards the end, she was getting fine. She was like, it's feeling very. Actually, the the funny part when we were taking the things out of the house, we noticed that we didn't use some of these things for like a whole year.
Yeah.
So even she was realizing that how much stuff we have collected that we were not even using it. And as soon
Yeah.
as she started giving it, she was feeling lighter and lighter, and she was feeling relieved that, oh wow, this pressure has been relieved to save and to do this. So yeah, it was a journey. It was an experience that I think it will be with us for lifetime. But they're all happy now. They feel like, okay, we got out of something, and now we're enjoying this family and bonding together.
Cool. And then one quick last question. Is there anything that you miss from US? Like you or family miss anything from US?
Missing wise, I feel like I still obviously I'll miss like the empty roads and the clean air for sure. Uh, in India, it's very populated, so that's one thing which I was enjoying. There was like an isolation, so I enjoyed that. But apart from that, I don't think there's anything that I miss really. Like maybe the friends that I made over there, time to time we get connected on the call.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't miss a lot.
Cool. So thank you very much, Aniruddha, for taking the time and sharing your journey, and especially some insights for someone who is moving from a corporate world to being an entrepreneur, and how that opened up with the flexibility that you have right now to travel around. So thanks a lot,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Avinash, for inviting me. I would just give a shout out that if anybody is looking for making the move and want to talk, you can reach out to me on my Instagram as well. My handle is Grow with Ani. So I think Avinash will mention it there. But feel free, guys, reach out. And again, thank you, Avinash, for giving me this opportunity. Really
Oh,
enjoyed it.
thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.